Hi there, Steph. Thanks for popping by. Today I'm sharing with you a card I made using an Altenew stamp set called Layered Lily, and it's basically an experiment. It's not my best card by any means. I'm not that pleased with the result, but I wanted to try, and I did, and I'm sharing my experience with you basically. So I used my homemade stamping tool. I'm stamping on 2 pieces of foam just to make sure that the impression is as good as it gets, and I've also re-inked my Versamark pad, so can't do better than that in terms of stamping really. I started my first layer with some gold embossing powder. I then use a red, it's called Chinese red, I believe. It's red with some gold in it. And that was my second layer. And then for the third layer, I've actually made my own mix, and that's why I call that an experiment. I made my own mix, mixing the Chinese red with some sort of glass red. It's almost like see-through, but it's still red. It's a bit hard to describe, and on the black it almost looks like clear embossing powder, but not quite. And I basically mixed that with the Chinese red. The first mix wasn't quite what I wanted, so I stamped again, and that's what's good with a stamping tool, is that you can stamp in the same spot again. And I stamped again with a more red mix of embossing powder, and I think it was actually quite a bit better. Then when I reached the fourth layer and I stamped with only that red, glass red color, turns out that, I don't know if it's just a property of the embossing powder, but it's kind of remelted within the previous layer, so it didn't add up onto it. So I actually stamped twice with that red, just so it would intensify the middle of the flower. And then I stamped my last layer again, but this time with some gold, so it pops against the flower. I use so much anti-static powder. Half of my bag is gone. No, I'm joking, but quite a lot of my bag is gone by now. I stamped my gritting, and I actually stamped it twice. Once with that glass red, and once again with that gold, and it gives it a shading really. So I think that worked out quite well actually. That would be something I would do again, definitely. And then I used a mask that I placed over my lily to cover it, and I'm stamping the little leaves. And then again I experimented because I mixed green embossing powder with that gold embossing powder I used for the first and the fourth layer. And it works pretty well actually. I think it's one of these things you have to try. The thing is that you have to lose some embossing powder. I mean, you don't lose it, you can keep it for another time, but if you don't use it another time, then you kind of lost it. But that worked pretty well. Against that black background, you really need something shiny or glittery, something that really pops against it. Then I used, it's not quite damp, but it was a bit humid, tea towel to remove all the excess embossing, anti-static powder, and I used a stitch wavy frame actually, to cut around my card. I just wanted to add some depth because it was really bland. So I put the center of the card front onto my blank card, and then I just put some double-sided foam tape onto the extra pieces, just to add a little bit of depth, a bit of something. It was a bit too bland for me. And then a little bit of glossy accent just to raise the, let's say, the more intense colored part of the flower. So I think you can see that it's not the best. The result is not the best. I suppose it depends what you're trying to go for. I tried it. I'm glad I tried it. I'm not that pleased with the result, but I wanted to share that with you. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.